Well, hi, everyone. I'm Eileen Lehpamer, and welcome to my streaming show, Off the Grid, New York City. We're going to be focusing on things that might be secret or a little less known. A lot of you guys know a lot about New York, but there's things that I consider like forgotten history, or maybe that aren't front and center on your mind. So we're going to talk today to the New York City Transit Museum because there's been a lot of talk lately about the City Hall subway station, the old one that's under City Hall and no longer in use. And of course, it came to light again when Mayor Mamdani chose that as his location for his midnight swearing in, which sounds so secret. So I'm joined here by Polly Desjardins with the New York City Transit Museum. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Hello. Hi.
Hi. So none of this is secret or forgotten to you because
Absolutely.
you are content and research.
That's right. That's right.
So the City Hall station is obviously closed to the public, but you can maybe book a tour. And we can get to that later.
Okay.
But I want to know, describe to me what it looks like when you enter. I remember seeing it many years ago, and to me, it was stunning.
I think there's this perfectly preserved piece of history. And when you get onto the platform, it's like walking back in time. It is this piece of sort of Gilded Age elegance. And it's so remarkable because it's so different to any other subway station that you might have been into. And I think really the first thing that always strikes me when I step off the train is the curvature of the platform. You know, it's so curved, which we're not really quite used to in the subway system. So there are so many things that just jump out at you when you first enter. But really, I think just seeing daylight pooling on the platform.
Because it's a glass ceiling.
Skylights.
Skylights,
There
right.
are 3 beautiful skylights on the platform level and another skylight in the control house. And yeah, it takes you back. It really does.
Yeah. I remember when I saw it, I got off the train and back to Gilded Age New York City, right? I felt like you would see the people in the outfits almost like walking through with
Definitely.
the class and the elegance.
Definitely. The long dresses and
Yeah.
the tall hats and lots of facial hair. Yes.
And is there a chandelier there, or am I making that up?
No, you're right. There were at one point 12. Now there are 11.
Okay.
So there were 12 chandeliers that hung from the ceiling. There's 11 of them are still there. One accidentally got knocked off, but that now lives at the Transit Museum in our archives. Beautiful brass chandeliers with these little tulip holders for the incandescent light bulbs. I mean, chandeliers in a subway station.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And the tile work, there's also, so it's very cavernous, right? With the arches.
City Hall Station was the one station really that the architects got to actually design. And they brought artisans with them because the architects were working on the Cathedral of St. John the Divine up in Morningside Heights. And so they're designing this wonderful subway station and they have room and space. And so they bring down 2 different artisans. They bring down Rafael Guastavino and his son, who were constructing the Dome of the Crossing at the cathedral.
Wow.
And they create these timbral vaulted ceilings at City Hall Station, which are probably its most standout, remarkable feature. And they also brought with them a sculptor by the name of Gutzon Borglum, who actually sculpted Mount Rushmore later.
Oh, wow.
But he sculpted some commemorative plaques that sit on the wall at the station to commemorate the opening of this great engineering marvel.
Yeah. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the engineering. So why was that particular spot chosen rather than like even 100 feet over or somewhere else in Lower Manhattan? Do you know?
Yeah, well, plans were being made for a long time about where the routes of the subway were going to go. And for a long time, the preference was that the subway would go underneath Broadway, the main thoroughfare, the street in Manhattan. But I think business owners and property owners were like, no, thanks.
Even back then.
We don't want
yeah.
that tunnel, thank you. And so they sort of changed plans for where the subway was going to run. So initially, Old City Hall Station was actually planned to be on Broadway.
Which is on that side of City Hall.
Exactly. Actually, probably in basically the same spot that City Hall Station on the BMT
Hmm.
that we ride on today on Broadway. When they decided that actually they were not going to go under Broadway and when they were going to take the subway out of Manhattan and into Brooklyn, they kind of changed plans. And that was when they decided for this loop track, because it's called a loop track,
Okay.
right? Because it brings the local train downtown and then the loop allows that local train to turn around and go back into Brooklyn Bridge Station and head uptown. And so when they made the change in plans in around 1898, just as the city's consolidating, they put it underneath City Hall Park, and they had to fit it really between the foundations of City Hall
Hmm.
and the old Federal Post Office, which was an enormous building right at the end of City Hall Park.
And so that's why it has that sharp turn
Exactly.
that ultimately was the downfall of the station, right? So the sharp turn when the trains became
Absolutely
bigger and more modern.
That's right. When they got longer, the platform I think is 210 feet long,
Okay.
which was enough just about for a 5-car local train, which was initially how long local trains were. In fact, it didn't quite fit. So you probably had to walk a little into the train to get off. But once trains started to get longer, 8 cars, 10 cars, they couldn't extend the platform at City Hall. It was too complicated on that curve.
Mhm.
And also, Brooklyn Bridge Station is just a couple of 100 feet down the tracks.
Right.
So it wasn't really worth extending City Hall.
And when it closed in December, it was December 31st, 1945?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was there any public outcry? Were people upset or it was not noticed?
Truthfully, I don't think it was very noticed.
Okay.
I mean, ridership had dropped to about 600 people a day, which is one of the reasons that the station closed.
Why did ridership drop? Do we know?
Ridership dropped really because you could only get a local train from City Hall. And again, people just got wise. They walked to Brooklyn Bridge. There they could pick up an express or a local.
Okay.
So it just saw less and less traffic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take this moment just to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about, how you can possibly see it for yourself, although it is very much in demand these days, as I understand. Okay, let's take a quick break. Okay, and we are back with Off the Grid, and we are talking with Polly Desjardins with the New York Transit Museum. I want to apologize. It did say New York City Transit Museum. It is the New York Transit Museum. So we were talking about the closed City Hall subway station. How does one get to see it? Everybody wants to know.
Well, you must come with the New York Transit Museum, in fact. So it's one of our key membership benefits. And so we take all of our members who want to come. We do tours. We do about 40 tours a year. We take about 1,600 people into the station, and that is really about the maximum that we can do. And I'll just give you a little insight into how popular these tours are. I think we sold out. We sold over 400 tickets in about 4.5 minutes last week. So
obviously, because Mayor Mamdani chose that as his place to be sworn in.
And I just think that people really have really enduring interest in this station and really want to see it.
And is it possible to do more tours, or is it just logistically?
We do as much as we can do, actually. Yeah, we take as many people and we go as many times as we can. So yeah, we really bring joy, and we get people from all over the world. We usually do a quick check-in at the beginning of a tour and say, how far have people come from? We always have people from out of state, but we often have people who've traveled a really long distance, often just to come and do the tour.
Right. And you have to take the 6 train in. And obviously, if you're on the tour, you're allowed out. Or is there a way down?
Oh, you have to come with us because we take the 6 train, but we get special permission. We have MTA colleagues that accompany us on that train because technically, you're supposed to get off of the 6 at Brooklyn Bridge
Well, a lot
Station.
of people are staying on and have their cell phones out and they're recording.
They do. It is the worst kept secret in New York, I think.
Yeah, and especially now.
Yes.
Is there a staircase that the MTA can also allow people down to?
No, we really, the access is from a train car when we do our tours. Yeah. I mean, there are emergency exits, but
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And since this is about secrets or forgotten parts of New York City, I did want to say, or you said you had some ideas, but I told you not to tell me
Yes.
because I am born and raised in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I pride myself on being a New Yorker.
Okay.
So I want to see if what you're going to tell me surprises me.
Oh,
And I might be,
okay.
I'm on the spot here. I'm putting myself on the spot.
Okay. Have you ever seen a rather odd-looking house on Gerolman Street in Brooklyn Heights? So there is a rather famous brownstone on
Okay.
Gerolman Street, which if you walked up close to it, you would say, oh, what is odd about this house?
What color is it?
I think it's kind of reddy brown, you know.
Okay.
But the front door looks a bit odd and there are no windows. The windows are all blacked out and it has a kind of funny bulkhead doors in the front garden.
Okay.
So that is known as the vent house. And that is a sort of secret. It's not really a secret, but inside that building, it is basically a facade.
Right.
And behind it is a vent plant. So in other words, it sends fresh air into the subway tunnel. And it also acts as an emergency exit if there was ever a need to exit people from the tunnel. The Gerolman Street Tunnel, which is what the 4 and the 5 train run through, the very first tunnel that was built under the East River. So there's a fake house front.
Right. I do. Now that you mention it, I remember hearing about it, but I would never, I mean, I've walked past it and I wouldn't even notice.
58 Gerolman Street. Yeah, you would probably never know unless you really paid attention.
And why is it done that way? Just for aesthetics?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think in the early days, they really wanted transit infrastructure to fit in with the neighborhood. They didn't necessarily want it to stand out. They wanted it to blend. So we have a lot of infrastructure like substations that just blend into the streetscape.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though we then had the elevated trains.
Oh,
right?
Elevated trains everywhere. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you want another secret?
Yeah, let's try it.
How about, have you ever noticed some station walls, decorations are sort of bands of colored tiles, just one single band of colored
usually
tiles.
Green, on top of the white subway tiles, as we call them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that is actually a color-coded system that was developed by the second system architect, a man called Squire Vickers, who was the architect from about 1906 until about 1942. And he had this idea that he would color code the walls of the IND stations, the independent subway system stations, and they gave us information. So the color family there were 5 color families.
I see green and blue all the time.
Yeah, red, yellow, purple. So those are our 5 colors. And at an express stop, the color would be, let's say, blue. And every local stop from that express stop would be a hue of blue until it hit the next express stop. And then the color family would change again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when did that practice stop? Because now there's different color tiles and we have mosaics. And
absolutely. So, you know, after sort of post-1940, station sort of design and decoration changed a little bit. But of course, we have built most of the system by the 40s.
Right.
So most of the stations that we ride through today, you know, are historic stations. But it was kind of a neat thing. It was supposed to be so that a passenger could really just like glance out of the window and have an idea. Oh, is it my express stop? No, the color's still the same. I'm good. I can wait another stop.
Right. Well, see, I did not know. I mean, I've noticed the different colors.
Yeah.
Did not know that there were 5 colors or what they meant.
Yeah. System.
Great. I think that's all. I think we're out of time unless there's anything else you want to really quickly tell us. I think we're good.
No, just like the subway system is the lifeblood of the city and transit keeps us all moving, and come and visit the Transit Museum.
Okay, thank you for joining us. That wraps up our episode of Off the Grid with the New York Transit Museum.